Hey there, Arc Hunters. This is Grimweird coming at you again with another Defiance FAQ video. This time I thought I'd talk about synergy weapons and synergy mods and how synergies work. The key first thing you need to know is that there are two different synergy systems in Defiance. That right there is what confused the heck out of me when I first started looking at this stuff. So what do I mean by two systems? The first system, well, here, let me pull up two guns that show you the two different systems. On the right here, I have a Survivalist sniper rifle, and it has in brackets a little 2 that has one bonus line that says plus damage to targets with full health and shields. Alright, and then this Canker Infector over here has the Synergy Quartermaster, and you can see it looks different. It actually has 4 lines of bonuses with in brackets 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what the in brackets and 2 means on Survivalist is that if you have 2 Survivalist weapons in your loadout, then you get this bonus. Whereas what happens with Quartermaster is that if this gun has 1 through 4 Quartermaster mods installed in it, then you will get up to and including all 4 of these bonuses for that gun. So I sort of think of the ones, these over here, I call them 2-bangers, but I think of the 2-bangers as loadout synergies, and I think of these 4-bangers as mod synergies. So let's take a look at loadout synergies first and see what that does. It's always easier for me to absorb a system when I actually see it work. So right at the moment I have a Survivalist in the primary, but if we look at my secondary, I have nothing, no synergy. So this should be what happens standard on the weapon. So if we take a look at it, I'm supposed to be getting extra damage on a healthy mutant. This is a healthy mutant, and I do 4,386. So just to get a baseline, let's see, 4,386, and if I shoot him in the body, I get 1,271, and he's wounded. If I shoot a wounded one in the head, 4,386. So that gives me my baseline. I've got 1271 for a non-crit, 4386 for a crit. Now let's change it up. I happen to have a pistol here with Survivalist Synergy. So now if we look at my loadout, I have both a Survivalist in the primary and a Survivalist in the secondary. I have not changed any mods, I have not changed any levels. I'm still going to be shooting with the same sniper rifle, but now all that's changed is that I now have a Survivalist pistol in my secondary. And 4605. So I've gone from 4,386 to 4605 on a fresh mutant. And then just to show you that again, oops, he moved. Hold still, hold still. I suck with sniper rifles, so bear with me. 4605. To show you, the body shots are still the same. I'm still doing 1271, and now that he's wounded, 4386. So you could see I did 4,605 on fresh mutants, and I did 4386 on wounded mutants, which is exactly what I would hope Survivalist does. Turns out that the Survivalist description is a little vague. It says it's 2% damage to targets with full health and shields. I would say that a better description of it would be 5% crit damage to targets with full health and shields, but that's just nitpicking. So there you have it. Now let's take a look at the other ones. If I go take a look at It's really hard right now to assemble a good mod synergy because the only mods that seem to be dropping with any regularity from the synergy mod caches are these brutal mods. You'll get the occasional run and gun. So that means to get a lot of synergy mods, you might have to get a lot of faction mod caches and faction guns. So it's a bit hard to assemble a decent gun at my current ego rating with the current drops in the game. But what I've done here is I got a frontier shotgun that has the brutal synergy, which means it can accept and recognize brutal mods. So if we take a look at so let's show mods real quick. If we take a look here, like this for instance is a brutal mod. In fact, most of what I'm getting, I have a scavenger, a brutal, I've gotten maybe a few run and guns. Here's a run and gun. On the whole, most of what I'm getting from the synergy mod caches that you buy with key codes are brutal, and most of them don't fit into a shotgun, and the only brutal shotgun that I've found is this one that I got from Crystal Pond Hidden Vendor. But I did put a +8 fall off damage brutal mod into this gun. Now you'll notice that it doesn't actually show that it has a brutal mod in it. Melee damage isn't listed, so it doesn't show it going up. The display here on the brutal doesn't change. You can't actually see the description to know that this +8 fall off damage has a brutal mod, but this shotgun has +10% melee damage for a stock, and it is also getting +5% melee damage on top of that from the brutal synergy. And you will have to do the math if you want, but you'll see that with this gun I'm actually getting +15% melee damage. And let me show you that real quick. If I go to loadouts, let's actually load out the same kind. Well, let's leave it the way it is right now. If I take my pistol, which my pistol has no mods, no extra melee damage. If I take my pistol and run up here, I'm doing 866 damage. If I now switch to my shotgun, I'm doing 995. So that's 15% extra. And I lit him on fire. There, put him out of his misery. And just to show you that having more brutal guns loaded doesn't help, let me load up a second brutal shotgun that does not have any brutal mods. Where are they? Here we go. So now my primary is a brutal shotgun that has one brutal mod in it, and my secondary is a shotgun that does not. So if we take a look at that, 995, 995, 995. Now I'm going to switch to my secondary that does not have mods, 866, which is my base damage. 995, 995. So there you have it. That's how the mod synergy ones work. You take a weapon that has the synergy available to it, and then you put a bunch of mods in it for that synergy. And like I said, these are really hard to get all the mods you have. Like for instance, there's a bunch of cool synergies like say Cannoneer. Cannoneer has extra fire rate That would be really cool. There's one that's called Assassin, which would be really cool because it has better crit multiplier, but those aren't dropping. Let's run over here real quick and go to a store and show you some of what I mean. The two bangers, the loadout synergies, actually get pretty easy to use once you hit about ego rating 650. At ego rating 650, pretty much all of the blue vendor specials that I see on here started coming with one of the origin themed synergies. I say origin themed because there is no class. Get away from the gunshots. There is no class in this game, and what origin you chose, background you chose, doesn't mean anything to the synergy system. But there are origin themed weapons. So if we look here, most of my blues now have like veteran or outlaw or survivalist or machinist on them. And so at about 650, prior to 650, purples tended to come with these. But then at 650 and later, now even blues are coming with this synergy. So it became pretty easy for me to make a loadout that has a loadout synergy of two weapons that are survivalist or two weapons that are veteran. And that can be helpful to get this little extra bonus. But some of these other ones, like Cannoneer, I haven't seen any Cannoneer mods yet. If you purchase Synergy mod caches with key codes, these will come with Synergy mods, usually a couple of Synergy mods in them, but they're almost always brutal up until at least my ego of 1056. Occasionally I'll get a run and gun, so that makes it really hard to do any of the other other 4-banger mod synergies that you might show up on, like say a fancy purple if you're up around ego 1000, or even like an orange at really low ego. You might get an orange that has something like Cannoneer like I did, and then not be able to find any mods to actually take advantage of it, any Cannoneer mods. But if you're really jazzed to get some synergy going, there are other places to do it. You can see that the faction vendors, like the Von Bach Industries vendor, sells some that have ego precision on it. So it has like a sniper rifle and a pistol with ego precision. And then if I were to go down here to the bottom, I could get a random mod cache with the precision, ego precision synergy. I haven't played with this too much in release yet, because the bottom line is these mod caches might be for detonators, they might be for rocket launchers. There's no real guarantee that it's going to be one, that it's going to be for a bolt action sniper rifle if I were to purchase this bolt action sniper rifle. And then two, even if it was for a bolt action sniper rifle, it may not be the type of mod that I want. Maybe it's like a plus reload, and I don't want plus reload, I want plus magazine capacity. So I haven't played too much with these yet, but you can see that once you start grinding out faction, there are other things to try if you want to try other synergies. The other thing is that most of the faction places also offer 2-bangers, the loadout synergy weapons. So an EMC auto shotgun that has nano mastery only requires the 2 weapons in the loadout. So you could get an EMC auto shotgun and an EMC light machine gun, and you would fulfill your nano mastery synergy with those 2 weapons. So that's about it. Like I said, there's 2 systems. If it just has a 2 and a single bonus, then that's sort of what I call a loadout synergy, and you just need to match them up in your loadout. And if it has 4, then it's talking about a single weapon, and you just need to put a bunch of brutal mods in a brutal weapon. In other words, you have to match things up. I have tried putting brutal mods into weapons that do not have the brutal synergy, and it recognizes the normal mod bonus, like say better reload or better melee damage, you know, the normal stuff that's on the mod. So here, I'm not explaining myself well. So for instance, if I were to put this expanded magazine into a pistol, if I put this into well, that's a bad one because it doesn't list the actual bonus. Here we go. Ultra Bore Extension 3 is a barrel for manual and semi-auto sniper rifles. The normal bonus is that it's plus 7% to aim damage or hit damage, and it has scavenger. If I were to put this into a weapon that didn't have the scavenger synergy, I would still get the 7% damage bonus. I just wouldn't get the synergy. To actually use this in a weapon and get the scavenger bonus, I would have to put it into a sniper rifle that's listed as a scavenger synergy weapon. And then I could put these scavenger types into it and get the bonus. I would get both the normal mod bonus and the synergy. So I've tried to do it the other way around. I've tried to put synergies into guns that don't match, and I have not gotten the synergy bonus. So anyway, I think that's about it. I think I've babbled on long enough. That's about all I know on synergies. Again, I mentioned that there are other potentially cool things like Cannoneer is a cool one, but I have not seen any Cannoneer mods. There are a few like Quartermaster, Assassin, Cannoneer. There are a few of these 4-bangers that we just haven't seen any mods for yet, neither me nor anybody else on the boards that I'm aware of. So one of two things is happening. Either some of the mods, like Assassin, Quartermaster, Cannoneer, etc., aren't going to drop until really high ego rating, like 2, 3, 4,000 ego rating. Maybe you'll start seeing them show up as vendor specials. Maybe you'll start getting them in the key code mod caches. Or the itemization is just screwed up. Maybe we're not supposed to be just getting brutal right now. Maybe we are supposed to be getting Assassin and Cannoneer and Quartermaster mods as well, but it's just screwed up. I'm not sure what's the long-term plan is for Synergies. But anyway, I hope that clears some things up for you on Synergies. And I really enjoy Survivalist, and I try to make sure that whenever I build a sniper loadout, I have that, because you saw it was an extra few hundred damage for those initial shots. And I like Veteran as well, Outlaw. All of those are pretty good and pretty easy to start getting the loadout synergies. And so give it a try, see what you think, and talk to you later. Bye.